But anyway,
If I have to sneak out early, you can come and sit up in the front row. If you want, just sit here, I'll sit down.
it's good. His son does, yeah.
I don't mind being in the back.
That's where I like to be.
Right?
I think he goes by Chadwick.
Oh, I think he does.
Yes.
Is that like the?
You know, Sylvan was coming, he was invited.
I saw him last night, didn't say.
Thank you.
And Joel, you know, to get on the screen, you just.
Yep.
go.
I'm just waiting in case there are other agenda items or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I'd say.
Maybe while we're waiting, we just do quick introductions. Nancy, why don't you start us?
Sure, I'm Nancy Valancourt, I'm on the West Hills Commission.
Sarah McKay, West Hills Commission.
Jan Pickett, West Hills Commission. I was gonna do that when I called the meeting to order, but I won't now.
Oh, well, you most certainly can do it when you would like.
And the other two commissioners are not able to be here.
The Burbank Council.
Emily Famer, Assistant City Administrator.
Tom McCann, City Council.
Melissa?
Melissa Zimmerman, resident.
Bryce Canary with ICS.
Trisha Natch, Administrative Coordinator.
Josh Sorensen, Old Town Police.
Catherine Coleman, Old Town resident.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
Courtney Kordanowski with Wold Architects.
And I'm Jenna, the city administrator.
Jeff Mondell, Chief of Police.
Paige Sullivan with Wold Architects.
Joel Dunning with Wold Architects.
We've definitely got a full room, just tipping over.
And it's close enough, so I call the meeting to order. We've already done the roll call. And the approval of the agenda. Oh, and Nancy kindly moved that. And Sarah seconded. And is there, are all of us in favor
Of what?
of approving the agenda?
Sure, yes.
Okay, eyes all. And Jenna is going to give us a reason for why we're here.
Yes, it is a special meeting and it is good to see you all and to be here. So thank you for taking that time to hold this special meeting and to all the other people that are here too. You know, this meeting was called for the purpose of the project that we've been working on for several years. Jan and Nancy raised their hand or volunteered each other to be part of a task force that's been meeting probably in January and February. We're part of the design of the police station that's been proposed to come up here on West Hills. And so what we wanted to do is just update the rest of the commission and public on where we're sitting with the design and some of the input that you had and what Wold had come up with some options and from the feedback that was received in the last few months. So maybe I'll turn it over to you, Joel.
Okay.
And there you go.
All right, so we have been through a design process, through design development. We're here to give you an update on the site plan. We previously presented some of the exterior precedents and materials, and we have updated renderings of the proposed building. For big picture context, I just want to let the West Hills Commission know that we did contact the State Historic Preservation Office in early January. They responded back on the 14th, gave us a list of things they want to see. I think we were in communication about trying to gather some of that data. We're actually gonna, now that it's nice out and good weather, we're gonna take some pictures of the existing conditions today and hope to be able to submit to SHPO in the next week or so. That will be the essentially 60% design submittal. There will be another submittal at 90%, and they will give comments back, review comments on, if they have any comments, I guess, on the project at that point. So, and I think it goes to the city council for city council's consideration.
Sure.
SHPO is not an approval agency, they comment, so.
That's what they've done on
Yeah.
this building, Merrill Hall building, and even the chamber, and I think Ann or Nancy, you were part of those projects too, so we're familiar with it.
It'll also go to the state archaeologist, by the way, that same submittal. It goes to both SHPO, Historic Preservation Office, and the archaeologist. It's a statutory requirement. So we'll go quickly through this because it was presented at the last time we were at the commission, but obviously this is the site map with the contributing buildings on historic campus in green and non-contributing buildings in orange. This actually is a graphic taken from the application for being on the National Historic Register, and we just added the color coding so it's a little easier to tell. And I think you'll see, it's maybe the next slide, but the important components are really the open, the lawn. That's when looking at other similar historic districts, similar campuses that were granted National Historic Registry across the country. It was this common lawn as well as the central admin building and the peripheral dorm and housing building. So there we have the central admin building here on this campus, and then the surrounding dorms, and then a lot of the support buildings and some of the non-contributing buildings on this campus are all further removed from the heart of that central administration building and the core of the historic nature, and all kept, except for, I suppose there's one up on the northwest corner where it kind of infringes. It's down the hill, I think, on the north, but it gets a little bit further east into that lawn, into that green area. The site for our police is then purposefully kept back out of that front lawn and is in the periphery, like a lot of the other non-contributing buildings, that it's an ancillary peripheral building. The building footprint, as it actually lays out, this is overlaying the proposed parking lots and a reorientation of Dunnell Drive that, I'm sorry, Dunnell. I knew that as soon as it came out. Dunnell Drive.
Not Dunnell. Your address.
I have to remember, I'm Dunning. Joel Dunning. Dunnell. Okay. There's a realignment just for safety purposes that the city is looking to implement for West Hill Circle and Dunnell Drive. But this shows you the footprint of the building here in white, and there will be staff parking for police that'll be down the hill on the south side. We're reusing the existing paving and I think maybe the might not be perfectly aligned, but this is intended to be that reuse of the existing senior center parking, so we're not really adding a lot of new paving for public parking, just capitalizing on what's already there. One interesting thing to note is that this projection here on the building very well aligns with the art center across the way. And as we've gone through the comments with the steering committee with the city, there was some feedback that we received that because of that alignment and the importance of calling out to the public where the entry to the police would be, there's a lot of entries, but only one that the public is able to get in. And so that is, you'll see in the renderings, feedback we got was to aesthetically align the police entry with the design of that arts entry, have them relate. So the influences, obviously the context on site is very important. Blending with the materials, there is no one standard brick on the campus. The admin building is, I'll say, leans towards the redder side in the range of brick, and some of the peripheral buildings lean a little bit more towards the more brown brick in a red range. And so we've matched some of those peripheral buildings with our brick match. All of the buildings tend to have, even the art center, there's a use of limestone at entries that's prominent, or at least a change in materials and a portal that signifies the entry into a building. You can see Crandall Hall here on the top right where we're sitting is a modern interpretation of the campus as well. It uses the same brick match that we're looking at, very similar brick. It's precast concrete instead of a limestone banding to just carry through some of those details, but very modern in appearance, so that it follows the Secretary of Interior standards that when people see it, they don't immediately think it's historic. There's no confusion. It blends with the campus, but it's distinctly not historic. So the material for the police that we're proposing is that reddish range brick. We are looking at a second brick, some metal panel, precast, and even some limestone on the building to pick up those accents like on the rest of the campus. So this is the first rendering. This is essentially looking from City Hall back towards the police building. The entry is a little bit more modern. That's the square that pops out. The mechanical room that's in the distance, we are looking at being a lighter tone so that it kind of fades away into the sky in the background. But it's in shadow, so it's tough to see, but this is where the limestone is getting applied in this area. The brick of the rest of the facade is the brick that matches the campus. Because it is a bigger building, we wanted to separate it out, so we have some areas of full height glass that separate out so that starts to be the sense that there is a separate mass of a building off to the left here, the administrative area. This projects out further and is a little taller, so that's its own mass. When you go to the connection to the vehicle garage, sally port, and property garage on the right around the corner, I think you'll see glass at that point as well. We had some comments about the glass and wanting it to better have more divided light on the glass. You can see we've introduced that and changed the rhythm of the glass so it more reflects a lot of the historic buildings on the campus into those administrative spaces. This is shifting a little bit towards the west and looking back at that entry. There you can see that glass around the corner that separates it. We're still developing these. We're not done with design development. We're looking at some coining patterns on the corners of this building. So that's more reveals at maybe 12 inches on site on center up in the height. So that mimics some of the detailing of some of the existing buildings.
Could you explain that term, coining?
Yeah, it's, I don't know if we have an example.
Is it just like what we're looking at here, Chris, or Joel? Like this corner right up here?
No,
Not
not
like
quite.
that.
See if there's an example. It's tough to see, but you see this corner?
Oh.
There's a stripe. The brick has a reveal every 12 inches just on the 2 feet of the corner of the building. And that's fairly prominent in a lot of the utilitarian buildings on campus. Yeah, it's creating a pattern with a reveal to just emphasize the corner. That's a very historic gesture as well. So I think it's a good reference to the campus. Then from the west, this is looking west, but you're east of the building. Already up the hill a little bit, and actually this looks like it's up in the air. It's not quite from human perspective. But the purpose of this rendering shows the entry in the distance, and you can see that there is a hill that grades down from that entry in this front lawn. We're dropping a story to this point. There will be a security fence that comes across here so that the squad garage entry, fleet garage entry, and the employee parking will be secured, or securable, I should say.
Joel, is this the view from State Avenue?
Not from State. There's a legend on the left here, so it's right about where the corner of Donnell and West Hills Drive is today. So you're pretty close to the building. That's why it's so prominent. We've tried doing renderings from State and you almost can't see the building, so that's why we don't have any renderings from there.
So I guess we can clarify that this view would be east of the building facing west.
Correct.
So
Driving up.
it's not maybe standing on State Avenue, but it would be
Similar
from
vantage
that
point.
direction.
Yep.
Is
That's accurate. And just for reference, this is the type of fence that's being looked at for fencing in those secure areas. There would be a gate at front and off the drive. And then south of the building, you're down at the lower level. That employee parking lot is a full story down from the front entry, so you're seeing the garage here on the lower level, the fleet garage, and then office space above. So our concept is that the facade that's facing the rest of the historic campus has more historic references. It's also, because of its more public face, it's appropriate to have a little bit more limited glazing on that facade, which aligns really well with the historic punched windows. The south side is, because it's fenced in, it's a little bit more secure. They're facing the south sun. It's a little more appropriate to have more open windows that bring light into the workspace. So this is the south side, employee only sort of entry.
And Joel, while you're here, can you just talk about the need for future expansion from this view here?
Yeah, so while the the building was planned for projected growth, we always believe that it's important when you're investing taxpayer dollars to have open ends, to be able, you don't know what's going to happen in the future, and so this roof area on the top, and also if I go back a slide, so here you can see it better, there's some single story space over the lower level garage, both towards Donnell Drive and a second section that's back here. Those would be potential expansions in 20, 30 years for the city if more detectives or more patrol or some other function comes up that's needed. But it's not anything that's planned. It's just, we always like leaving open ends that make sense so that the city doesn't need to replace the building too soon. So I think those are the views, updated views. Like I said, we are going to submit this to SHPO for their review and comment here in the next week. And so that's the development, the input that we've had from the steering committee.
Super, thank you. I think the other piece to it is we want to be good neighbors too. And so when we get the back of that building figured out, I would like to go to find out from the neighbors, what do they want to see, like they're used to seeing green space.
Yeah.
And so, will there be a berm, or is there some needed trees or something to get it that it's a city-owned property, but we want to be good neighbors too, of if they want some kind of trees or berms or something, then maybe we can make that happen.
Maybe I'll go to this. I believe the landscape design and civil design firm is designing a berm that goes along this south property line. It'll be landscaped and provide screening for the neighbors to the south from the building.
So I just want to make sure they get an idea of what that is and how it might look in their backyard. And if there's a tree or something that we could add, that would be the time to do it too.
Yep.
Just want to make sure they're heard. Any thoughts on that from the commission?
How many trees are you removing?
I don't know that we have
98 is what I got out of it.
98.
Yeah, but replacing just as many.
98 trees?
Yeah, but they're little, correct. Not the big ones. You don't even have 98 trees out there. So we're replacing at least 1 for 1. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, correct?
I think so. I don't have the exact number, but yeah.
Where's your pond going?
It's the same location, it's just going to be expanded because of the additional hard surface.
So one of the things you said earlier was that from state, it will be not seen. That would be, remember, our focus is to protect the integrity of the West Coast campus and its historic view. And so if we think about people driving by, and if you're not gonna really see this building from State Avenue, is that what you're saying?
I didn't say it wouldn't be seen, I said it's hard to see it, and so therefore it's, as we're judging the building and designing the building, it's not really useful for us to create that rendering.
And there's a new street a road that has to go there to get to the back of the building, correct?
Driveway, yep.
A driveway, and the fencing will be along where?
It'll come off the end of the building, continue across, and then follow on the
On that
east side
driveway?
of the driveway, and then cut across. And it comes back, goes up, and then it comes back into the building right here.
Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that berm is gonna actually go on the east side along there, and they were gonna put some shrubbery, I think, on top of the berm.
Yeah.
To block our headlights coming out and anything for the neighbors and shining towards State Avenue as well, so.
So the traffic noise will be minimized for these folks that live on Glendale?
The,
The traffic noise from moving in and out from the building by the officers and.
Yeah,
will
the
be
berm I
minimized?
described on the south would shield that noise and the lights. And what the captain was mentioning was that that berm actually, I was answering the question about the south, but it actually extends up on the east side of the drive. And that berm and its landscaping is part of what hides the building.
was it slated for like a 3-foot berm, kinda give or take, do you remember?
I don't remember, it's overhead light height, so.
Yeah, and then I
3-4
thought there
feet.
was some
Then
shrubbery.
there's shrubbery on top of the berm.
So,
And, well, how big is that? I mean, how long, how many feet is it this way and this way? So this building footprint is, what is it comparable to? Not a football field.
But if you look at the admin building and the art center is on the top of the picture here, it's about the same footprint as that.
As the admin building that has the addition from the art center on the
Yep.
back.
You can kind of use the landmark of the curve on Denell and the public parking lot, kind of, I can get the idea of what the front looks. And then Joel, in here, we've made some, not only the road improvements, but we did the sidewalk. I know we had some sidewalk connectivity gaps on here, and so we're able to improve that and pick that up.
We've also talked about places for the cart to go.
Yeah,
that,
there, yeah.
In this triangle potentially, or there's a large lawn space in front that it could go in any of that area.
I think it might even be in that space right now, so, still they wanted it there, it could stay there too.
Yeah, we've located several different spots right up kind of against the
Where the
building of that
sculpture-
front entryway, yeah.
This is one piece of art on that side, right? Is that what we learned from, so I think there's one piece,
There's 4 altogether.
I think one of them is on this side of the, I can kind of see it there. Any other, comments, feedback?
The side, back to sidewalks. This is for the residents of Owatonna and Skip County. This is a real walking thing. There's a lot of walkers that come through here. And will there be, and other than the fencing, they're not gonna be walking on Donnell Drive. There's a sidewalk, there's gonna be a sidewalk,
Yeah, so
so we're not gonna kill somebody at the same time.
There's a sidewalk that's on the west side of, or south side of West Hill Circle, and you can see it's here. We will be building a continuation of that connects up to the parking lot and then feeds into this system of walks that's already on campus.
So those little light squiggly things up there are sidewalks.
Yes. Yep, so like there's a sidewalk right there. Comes down, serves the front entrance of the building, goes out to Donnell.
Do you have any other questions, Nancy or Sarah?
I don't know that it's necessarily, maybe this is more towards Jeff, but with there being 2 daycare centers up there and having people with felonies or predatory people come in where they have to check in, correct? Does that, I mean,
We don't see that being an issue.
okay.
There's a
I
lot
think-
of
I
little
think-
children.
I think safety on the campus the safety on the campus will actually only get better with the visibility of the police presence there. There's probably more people coming to the Little Theater for a show than there will be people visiting the police department on a weekly basis.
Well, they come to LTO, 4 times a year for 2 weekends in a row, so
In the
that's,
evenings.
There's
in the
more-
evenings.
yeah, What I'm saying is there's
But
probably
there's
more
little
traffic.
children that come 5 days a week, so,
Yeah, I think safety on the campus will actually improve.
and older people at the senior center. So are you suggesting that perhaps, potential criminals try to stay away from police departments as opposed to looking in their windows? Not visiting often?
What are you saying?
Are you trying to ask, I'm trying to say that, people who are criminals or potential criminals try to stay away from police departments, they're not attracted to them until they're driven there through the
I would
Sally
agree with
Port or whatever you call
that. I would
that.
agree with that.
I just was asking from a question standpoint, because I was asked by constituents that don't they have to check in at the police department occasionally? And their concern was having 2 daycare facilities within proximity of this.
We actually met with, Weepels. Yeah, we met with Weepels, and actually, I feel like they maybe have a little bit more comfort in our conversation, but the people that are checking in as a predatory offender are not always just a sex offender. There's many, crimes that somebody may commit that puts you on the list. The other thing is these people are known in our community, and we range from anywhere from 50 to 80 that are on our list. They check in once a year, but that doesn't necessarily mean they check at the police department.
Okay.
We go to their homes to verify their residency and that they're still living there. There may be some periodic updates over the course of the year. Let's say they change a car, appearance, employment, they would come in and do a change form.
Okay.
The people that communities need to be concerned about are the people that are not on our list. The offenders, the predatory offenders that are out there that we don't know about. That's who we need to be worried about, not the people that are known to us, that are complying with their requirements, that are coming in to check in.
Okay.
So,
I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't ask that question coming from.
yep, and we had a good conversation with WePal staff on that.
I just have a question about how far it is between the parking lot in the rear of the building and the property line. Is it right up to the
I
parking?
don't know the existing, actual distance. It's not right up to the property line. There's a setback that zoning code mandates for even parking lots.
So is this, on Glendale, the backyards of Glendale, are they even? Is it even, the property lines? Are
Yes.
they just, they end at the same place, correct?
Yes.
These folks would have no idea, because it's all just been a big open space for as long as they've ever owned their home, so,
Right. It's all a consistent property line across east to west.
there aren't any jags someplace, okay?
Just the very east end, that yellow house, which is historic, actually.
Yeah.
That's obviously not in alignment with all those property lines.
Other than yours, Nancy, any other questions? We'll get that answered for you, or.
Sure. No, I see there's a time for comments later, after we hear the public will.
Pardon me?
Well,
On the agenda, it says that
Oh, yeah.
we ask for commissioners' questions, but there's time for public comments, and then Nancy suggests that she might have something to say under number 5. Thank you.
thank you for putting those good words in my mouth, I couldn't get out.
Got it.
That's okay.
Good.
So, are the residents who are here, do you have some things do you have anything you'd like to ask or say?
I have an email that I received from the state that I would like to kind of read, if that's all right.
Okay with me.
Okay. From the state, it says, it sounds like there hasn't been much transparency, and it might be worth
Just a
checking.
second, Melissa. From the state who? Who from the?
This is from the SHPO office.
Oh, from the SHPO office,
Yep.
okay.
Is there someone specifically it's coming from?
Leslie Coburn. It says, it sounds like there hasn't been much transparency, and it may be worth checking into Minnesota open meeting law has been followed during this process. This is beyond the SHPO's area of expertise, but you may want to contact the Minnesota Data Practices Office, which among other things, issues opinions about whether open meeting law has been violated. A colleague here at SHPO also recommends contacting the League of Minnesota Cities or Municipal Clerks and Financial Officers of Minnesota, since they provide training to the cities on open meeting law. As to the applicability of Minnesota Statute 138.665 to the new fire station construction, the SHPO's opinion would be that the project would have an effect on the National Register listed Owatonna City and Fireman's Hall if it changes.
Melissa, just so you know, this only has to do with this one, not the fire department. So if you can keep your comments just about this one, not, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
So there are concerns about the use of the old fire hall and it being abandoned. You're right on the consultation with interested parties and informing the public is important. Federal regulations governing implementation of the National Historic Preservation Act for federally assisted projects spells out expectations for consultation, but MS 138.665 only requires consultation with SHPO. In the case of the Field Archaeology Act, MS 138.40, consultation is required with SHPO and the Office of the State Archaeologist, and in some cases the Minnesota Indian Affairs Council. It isn't clear to me what authority the West Hills Commission has as an advisory body to the City Council and what obligations the council has towards the commission. Again, beyond SHPO's wheelhouse, the West Hills Complex, Minnesota State Public School for Dependent and Neglected Children, doesn't appear to be designated a local landmark by the city of Owatonna because, as far as we know, the city doesn't have a historic preservation ordinance. So it's unclear what local laws govern development or changes on the property. Perhaps the League of Minnesota Cities could provide input on those issues. Thank you for your work on the issue and for your advocacy for historic preservation. So they are concerned about the historic aspects of this, and we want to make sure that SHPO and the archaeologists are involved.
Anything else?
I just wanna echo what she's saying, basically. And I live on I'm on Glendale. I'm across the street, so I'm on, the opposite side of the street, but we're up neighbors with, Carl Muir, who's spoken out at these meetings too, so we're right across from him. And just wanna make sure that it's talked about with the other child care center too, that they take walks every day, and I know that Wheat House has a fenced-in area, so I know that's more secure back there, and so does Kids Corner, but they take their kids on walks out on that, on Florence every day, when the weather is, when they're able to, so.
They come right by here too.
Yeah, my kid went there, so. Yeah, just wanna make sure that stuff is.
Additionally, citizens put together a 209-page petition that the state has assigned to the city. We are hoping that would be considered with due diligence as well.
I have a question about that petition,
Mhm.
because it was asking for the environmental assessment worksheet, yeah, but that is being worked on, correct, Joe?
An environmental assessment worksheet is not required for this project under state statute.
The information that we've shared with SHPO, and you said you had a report that was due in a week, that's not an EAW.
That's correct. Yeah, we're submitting a design review or a design package to them of the proposed packet, proposed development. An environmental worksheet, assessment worksheet is I think it's a 7-step checklist to see just a preliminary review of a proposed development to see if any of the criteria reach a threshold that need deeper investigation. And there's nothing that we did go through. There are certain criteria in state statute that automatically kick in, like a development over 500,000 square feet, something like that. And there's nothing that requires in statute an EAW to be completed.
Can it be?
That is why we petitioned.
Yeah, it can.
That's what I asked.
Mm-hmm.
I can back up a little about the open meetings law. I am passionate about the open meetings law. It was my life to do that. And I can tell you that I've been sitting on the West Hills Commission for a long time, I think since 2018. It has never come up, this conversation about other buildings to build at this campus. In the best of my recollection, unless I'm too old to remember them, has never come up until we had the first informational gathering, and I won't call it a meeting, because it wasn't an open meeting, because there wasn't enough time for it to be that way. The commission was all here in this room, when this came up, but it was not a meeting, because we were called like the day before, takes 3 days notice, and in my life, let me tell you, I wouldn't participate in something that wasn't an open meeting, so that's that. And until whatever transpired long before that meeting in December, whenever month that was, it has not been, to my knowledge, ever discussed or brought up or talked about or winked over at any West Hills Commission meeting.
There was another meeting that was scheduled for another time that got moved on residents too, so not just a West Hills Commission.
No, and that wasn't the West Hills
Right.
Commission, that was, I
Correct.
think, had something to do with the city council.
Mhm.
And the commission, has been around, this is, I think, its third iteration in the time since 1974, when the city, bought this property. Because we've had the West Hills Commission, it's been dismissed, they had it again, it was dismissed, this is the third, I think this is the third time. I wasn't at the beginning of that part, so, and we are only an advisory board, or an advisory group, I don't even know if I should call it a board. We give our opinion, sometimes we have endorsed the idea, but the decisions are all made at the city council level. We have also not endorsed the idea, and we have, and our commission went on record being very skeptical about being able to preserve the integrity of the West Hills campus. And so we told the council that we didn't think this was a good idea, and that perhaps there should be another look at something else. But apparently the city council, who I never heard back from, didn't like that idea, so it doesn't, all we can do is say what we think, and they can take our advice or they cannot take our advice. And they clearly decided not to.
What I have noticed from this meeting is that you are open to hearing the public and looking into those thoughts and concerns and incorporating those into your opinions, which is a very great step towards transparency, and we as residents greatly appreciate that.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
So I do have a question. This would be for Wolf. Being the glass geek, are you gonna use bird-friendly glass on the police station because of the number of trees and things?
I don't think we've had that level of detailed discussion yet with the city on what the desire is, so.
Okay. Just wondering.
The first little group I came to, somebody asked about bulletproof glass, so, and you said we hadn't gotten that far either, so.
Yeah, just because I'm a glass guy, I just wondered. I would assume.
Glass guys should know that. Or journalists should always be, enthusiastic about the open meetings law, so there you got it. Are there any other comments from the public? Anything else from the commissioners? Yes.
Okay. I can say that this would not have been my choice of where to put the building, but I do believe that the city has been trying to mitigate, by using looking at that circular, design, that it'll be away from the heart, maybe not far enough away. But I do appreciate that the city is willing to do the things that they need to, understanding that the State Historical Society or National Register status does not mean to match it, okay? So it's gonna look different, but I do, think that the city has made some exchanges in order to keep it available for us to use.
I think it's an excellent point, Joel, that you could say that this is deliberately non-historic. And And I like that phrase, I think that's a good way to describe it, because otherwise it would just look fake or something.
Right.
So, and that would be the case, but my concern remains the integrity of the campus and what you see when you drive by. And although I think that we truly need fencing, I certainly don't want it to look like a concentration camp. So, that would be non-inviting at all to what that might be. So, decorative or not. So we're not talking about those barbed wire things. That's not talking about that. Okay. Sarah, anything else? I have nothing else. You have nothing else?
Thank you. Thanks for taking this time to do a special meeting and.
Wait, I think we had one more thing.
I'm sorry.
One more question in regards to the archaeology department, just to throw it out there. What about all of the vibration caused by all of the digging? Is there any chance of damage to the existing buildings? I'm sure the archaeology office will address that, but I just wanted to throw that out there because of this considerate vibrations that are gonna be caused by digging into the dirt, digging into the existing ground so much. That's all.
And the homes around it.
And the homes around it too.
Personally, I shouldn't be an issue at all. We have to put some aggregate piers, so as far as mass grading and digging down with that aggregate piers up for the soils there. So as far as pounding and so forth, you shouldn't have that.
Okay. I'm more concerned about the buildings themselves.
Correct. Yep. Don't see it being an issue.
All right, thank you.
It is possible if people in City Hall feel vibrations or feel concern, you can put seismometers or
Yes.
whatever into existing buildings. I've worked on projects like that just to monitor to make sure that historic buildings aren't being damaged. So I'm sure with people in the building all the time, they'll alert us.
And a lot of that happens with like bedrock when you have to dig down and pound a hammer too. That's not the case here for those soils. So.
Thank you.
So this is a one-issue meeting, we have only covered this matter, and I would say that we are adjourned.
Will there be something like this for the fire department as well?
The West Hills Commission doesn't do
Well,
that.
asking Jenna.
So there's not a West Hills commission, there's not a commission that would do a similar
Gotcha.
setting for this.
Any
So we have an
presentation?
open house on Thursday.
Any presentation of the design for the fire hall like we had for this?
Thursday at the open house.
Is that gonna be different than the
It's the same,
last?
it's the same story, really just kind of sharing the same information that's shared here. That this was because we have a commission, we wanted to update the commission. So this information won't be any different than Thursday's.
Gotcha. I just didn't think I saw like this kind of detail for design at the last open house, so.
It was on one of the boards,
Okay,
or actually it was on a table. We had it
Okay.
sitting on a table.
perfect. Thank you.
Maybe they've made some tweaks to it, but for the most part it's the same.
Thank you.
Listen, can we get you guys to sign in on the public comment sheet? Just like
Next meeting.
you might appreciate over here.
Going 150, so.
Yeah.